My name is Shane Pinnock. I work over at 10 Capital managing the investor relations and events. We have a great event lined up for you here about elevator pitches, and hopefully you guys get a lot out of it. We'll let you guys practice and have some feedback from the panel. We're still waiting on one more panel member, but let's go ahead and start off with some intros here. So Hall, do you want to go ahead and start? Just give us a little bit about what you do and maybe just one thing you look for in an elevator pitch.
Great. Thanks, Shane. My name is Hall Martin. I'm the CEO and founder of 10 Capital. We help startups and investors connect for funding. And one thing, we've been doing this for about 10 years now, originally under the name Texas Entrepreneurs Network. And at heart, we're running investor relations and introductions campaigns. And when I hear an elevator pitch, what I'm always listening for is what is the problem they're solving? What is the solution they're offering? How much money are they raising? And where exactly are they in the process? Just 2 or 3 core elements just gives me the basic context about where they are. Shane?
Yeah, thanks, Hall. So Amanda Eakin, are you here?
Hi, yeah.
Yeah, do you want to give us just a little bit about yourself and maybe one thing you look for in an elevator pitch?
Yeah, I work at Sputnik ATX. We're a VC and accelerator in Austin, Texas. And we do early stage startups, industry agnostic.
Okay, great. Did you have one tip for an elevator pitch?
Yeah, so usually we'll tell our founders to have like 3 different versions, a 30-second, a 1 minute, and a 5-minute. And you can start with a 5 to 30-second one at a networking event, and then you can continue if you basically get permission to continue speaking. But don't start off with your 5-minute pitch.
All right, great. Thank you so much. 80, are you in the room from WeFunder?
Hey guys, I'm here. Hi, how's it going? So I am part of the WeFunder team. WeFunder is a equity crowdfunding platform. I lead the venture partner and venture programming portion of the team. So one thing I would say look for any kind of, elevator pitch is to be direct with what they're saying. So get right to the point and tell me the problem solution, your current traction, and then we can kind of go from there.
All right, great. We're still waiting on Stephen Levy from Unorthodox Ventures. He's having a little trouble getting in the room, but I know we're a little short on time for the amount of things we have going on. So basically what we're going to do is have each startup give an elevator pitch, and we're going to time you in at 2 minutes. I'll go ahead and share my screen with a timer. And then once the timer's up, I'm going to cut you off. And we're going to go ahead and get some feedback from our panel. Hopefully Stephen will be in here by that time so we can get some of his feedback too. But yeah, let's go ahead and kick it off for now. First, I want to bring up Eric and Saber from Bright Stripes. Are you guys here? Oh, I think you're on mute.
Yes. Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah, no problem. Let me just bring up the timer here. Hold on. 1 second. Okay, so have this neat little timer I found online. And yeah, just let me know when you're ready and I'll go ahead and set it up.
Okay. Eric, you ready? I'll start it off like last time.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
All right, ready and go.
Okay. Hi, this is Eric and Saber. We're the co-founders of a company called Bright Stripes. We worked together for 10 years at a prominent toy and craft company, managing and growing a product development department of up to 20 people. We produce literally hundreds of products for key retailers, earning north of $100 million in annual revenue. And we manage everything from trend research, product concepts, sourcing, costing, and packaging and merchandising. You name it. We worked very seamlessly together. Our team actually nicknamed us Sabrick.
So we started Bright Stripes in 2018, launching at the Astra trade show in the summer of 2019 with 33 items. Up till now, we're projecting 2.5 million in sales. So we had a very rapid growth. We are producing beautiful arts and crafts kits for kids ages 3 to 12. We have a very broad range of products. Right now, we are at 112 items across 11 categories. So retailers are really excited to see this powerhouse company that's emerged in this time when kids are always on their screens, always at home. Just that kind of oversaturation of screen time, we're offering that beautiful, tactile, hands-on, enriching craft experience for all sorts of kids.
What we're seeking is $2 million, $500,000 to fund current open POs that we have in demand for fourth quarter, which is the strongest quarter of sales for the toy industry, and 1.5 to build our team and seize other opportunities.
All right. All right. So does anybody on the panel want to start with some feedback?
I'll go first. This is Hall Martin. I think
Hi,
you
Hall.
guys covered the major points there. The thing I would do is maybe change the order of it. Start with the opportunity. You know, kids spend too much time on the screen. Go to the solution. We need things that are off screen to work with and get the context down, because I kept listening for what the problem and solution was, and it came a minute into it. And I find a lot of investors do that. They want to get the context before they can go on. What exactly do you do? And then they'll move deeper into it. But you did cover the other points there. Your background, your history, your fundraise, all those elements were good.
Okay,
Makes a lot of sense.
that's good.
Amanda, what do you
Anything
think?
else?
Yeah, I agree with that. Usually I like to hear the problem before I can kind of digest the solution. So I'd agree with that. I don't know, this doesn't work for everyone depending on what you've got, but, and it may not, I don't know, it depends on how short you could make it, but I kind of like a small anecdote in the beginning sometimes. I don't know if you have kids and this is the reason why you started this. But if you felt that problem yourself, you can kind of communicate that pain point across best, especially if you felt it yourself.
Perfect.
It's a good tip. Thank you.
Katie, anything?
So one, very strong. I really did like this. The fact that you were able to bring the founder expertise, which was fantastic in the very beginning. Also able to bring the fact that you guys currently have a lot of traction, what the market is and who you're targeting was fantastic. I think something I would love to definitely see was, yes, the context and opportunity a little bit earlier. Is this a personal problem is also definitely key. And then I would like to learn a little bit more about the ask, right? So I know in general, it's usually either with development or something, but I would love to have a longer ask associated with what you're looking for the funding.
Got it.
Nice.
Thanks so much.
All right, great. Well, thank you, panel. And thank you, Bright Stripes. I hope you learned something about your pitch there.
Definitely. Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you so much, you guys.
All right, next, I'd like to bring up Kyle LaFawn from American Provenance. Kyle, you here?
You bet. That's me. How you doing?
All right, I'm doing great. How are you?
Hey, not too bad. I know a good handful of folks on the call here today, so nice to see so many familiar faces.
All right, well, we love to hear it, and thank you for being here. Just let me know when you're ready for your pitch.
I can go anytime.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, my name is Kyle LaFawn. I'm the founder of American Provenance. American Provenance is a manufacturer of natural personal care products, primarily intended for men. Specifically, we make deodorants, body washes, and grooming supplies. American Provenance stems from my time as a former middle school science teacher. If you can believe it or not, they actually trusted me with impressionable young minds, and hopefully I didn't do too much damage. During that time, though, I was shocked by just how many chemicals were contained in the personal care products that my students were using. I simply thought that they deserved better. And I started thinking about my own life and how there are probably millions of other guys out there just like me who've always wanted better for you products, but they simply weren't available. So I took the initiative and launched American Provenance from a from my fourth generation family farm here in Wisconsin. We actually launched out of a renovated machine shed and haven't looked back since. So since we launched in 2015, you can now find our products on over 4,000 shelves nationwide. Some of our biggest brick and mortar partners include Whole Foods, Hy-Vee, Giant Eagle, and Natural Grocers Vitamin Cottage. We're also distributed by Unify, K-Heat, Frontier, Pelco, Lowest Light, and Supernaturals. Since we've launched, we've now surpassed $3 million in lifetime revenues. Prior to 2020, we were actually growing 20% quarter over quarter, which was great. Of course, 2020 threw a curveball to everyone, and our sales were relatively stagnant. However, we emerged from the pandemic compared to most of our competitors. Our overall industry was down over 30%. We were only down about 7%. We're poised for growth here in 21. We've already been listed on Target.com, and we've got some big announcements coming up the next few months as we head into Q3 and Q4. Right now, we're raising a $1 million bridge round with a $4 million pre-money valuation and a $5 million post, of course. At this point, I have $585,000 already collected. I'm looking to close out this round in the next 90 to 120 days. What I'm looking for is a partner that can provide more than a check, but someone who has actually taken a challenger brand and made it into a household name. So I'm always available for questions and would like to talk. Thanks.
Perfect timing. All right, anybody on the panel? 80?
Yeah, definitely, man. Kyle, always good seeing you, man. That voice is insane. Love it. Okay, so I guess in terms of your pitch, right? Love the fact that you're able to bring in who you are, the personal problem, very key. A lot of sense of humor associated with this as well, which is fantastic. Love the fact that you're able to bring in the traction, and you also had a lot of keywords iteration. Like you kept on saying better, better, better during many times through your pitch. So I really love that. I mean, and also the fact that you're able to bring like the problem of course, 2020, how you currently compare with the competitors. I just think this was a very strong pitch, and I don't really have much to say associated with this. Even the ask was perfect. So nothing here from me at the end of the day.
Yeah, thanks, Eddie. Good to see you, buddy.
You too. You too. I'm biased.
Hall?
Sorry.
You're good.
Yeah, I think good job, Kyle. Appreciate your giving that to us. I think it covered all the major points. It was very polished and it flowed very well. It was logical in what they did. I think I would add is more numbers into it. You had some numbers around your distribution that was good, but I put more about your financial numbers, such as you talk about the market size, growth of the market rate, growth post-COVID, margins. These are some key numbers that I think would start to put you in the better light. So I just put more numbers into it because that demonstrates you're an expert, you know your business, you know your stuff. Numbers always make it better.
Yep, good points. Thanks, all. Good to see you too. Good coaching last week.
Thanks.
All right.
I
Thanks.
thought it
all.
was
Amanda?
a strong pitch too, and I agree with the other guys. What I would add is, and maybe I'm picky because I have a chemistry background, but to say chemicals, they had chemicals in them. Every product has chemicals in them. What it's the type of chemicals, what they do to you, and why they're bad. I think you could touch on, like, you could say carcinogens instead of chemicals. But and saying that is a little bit more strong and makes people go, ooh, I don't want that on my body too.
Makes sense. You bet.
All right. Well, thank you, Kyle. I hope you learned something, and a great pitch. Good job. Yeah. I wanted to introduce Stephen Levy. He just joined our panel. He's from Unorthodox Ventures. Stephen, did you want to say a few words about yourself?
No, and apologies. I just had some troubles getting into this, but just quickly, firm is a family office. We do early stage investing, medical products, branded consumer products, and a bunch of other stuff. My background, we're very, by the way, operationally oriented. We have a big team, except for myself. Everybody comes from an operational background. I come from more of a traditional deal, investment banking background, but I don't want to take up too much time. Happy to talk to anybody if they have questions besides.
Great. Thank you so much. And we're very happy to have you on the panel. All right. So next up for a pitch would be Lawrence Chavez of Everyday Context. Lawrence, you here?
I'm here. Thank you very much.
All right. All right. So I'm going to count you down here then.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, my name is Lawrence Chavez, and I'm blessed to be the CEO of Everyday Contacts. At Everyday Contacts, we're introducing a new daily disposable contact lens through what we call a doctor-enabled direct-to-consumer model. For the contact lens user, it gives them all the things they like about the direct-to-consumer experience: a branded product delivered to their home or office on a monthly basis, and the ability to manage and control their supply online. However, it's only available from an Everyday Contacts partner doctor. For our partner doctor, we give them a premium quality lens that allows them to reconnect and re-engage with their patient and recapture lost revenue. The problem is, and it's a problem for both the contact lens user and the doctor, is that, and this is a CooperVision study, 94% of patients use the contact lens recommended for them by their doctor. However, only about 50% of those same patients order that contact lens from their doctor. This results in lower patient outcomes for the contact lens user, and it costs the independent eye doctor almost $500 million a year in lost revenue from sales that walk to other retail channels. Our solution is our doctor-enabled direct consumer model that enables the doctor to have a direct-to-consumer option at the point when the patient would otherwise walk. We're working with a partnership strategy in the subscription model, which allows us to scale very quickly. Our ask is $1 million in the Series C preferred. We have $500,000 of that committed, and our plan is to launch in Q1 of next year. And we're working on the milestones will be completing our platform, completing our marketing, and launching the product in Q1. Thank you very much.
All right, great. Thank you, Lawrence. Stephen, did you want to go ahead and start us with some feedback?
I have a question, if okay, and then that'll tie into feedback. Is the contact lens itself actually different, or is it just business model that's differentiated here?
Well, so there's two answers to that. It's a premium quality lens, so it's a very high oxygen permeable lens, but it's not a proprietary lens per se. But it will be a proprietary lens for the doctor. In other words, it's not available. It's not one of the big four lenses. We do have a proprietary technology that we are working on, which we plan to launch about a year after we launch this product. So basically, that is a hydrophilic it is a chemistry, a hydrophilic coating technology to enhance the wettability of a daily disposable lens. That's our product improvement. COVID kind of hit us for a loop, so we decided, because that was being delayed, we decided to introduce the lens sooner than later, and that allows us to solve the business risk, and then we'll introduce a new technology lens about a year and a half later.
So my comment is going to be tied to my question, which is, there's a piece of this, the true proprietary part of what you're doing. I don't fully understand what the service, well, the business model piece of it, I think I still need to understand better. And then this whole element of the lens potentially being proprietary, semi-proprietary, I think you would need to explain to people in this. Otherwise, it just sounds like just sounds like I'm going to tell folks to sell something that they should be selling directly. There's a piece of this puzzle that I would have still a question about in terms of understanding what you're doing.
Makes sense, and I think the key element there is that the doctors are the ones that are making the purchase decision, not the consumers. CooperVision study says 94% of the time our internal customer discovery is actually more than that. So it's the doctors that are making that recommendation. The problem is that every lens that a doctor has currently is available from some other retail channel, so they lose that revenue. So.
Okay, great. Hall, do you have anything for Lawrence?
Sure. No, I think it was a good explanation, Lawrence. I think the thing that people are going to want to know is, how does the business model give you a competitive advantage, or how much of a competitive advantage does it give you? Have you quantified that in numbers as far as increased sales, reduced costs? What do you think that number might be?
So the number that is for us or for the doctor?
Well, for your business. And so I think you have to break it down to both those at some point.
Well, for the business, it's the assumptions are fairly simple. It's $50 a month per patient. Every doctor will prescribe, and the model is built on 6 new subscriptions per month, which is a very low threshold given that the average doctor sees over 200 patients in a given month. So our partner doctors are basically worth $43,000 a year in annual recurring revenue at that 6 patients per month, because it kind of snowballs. Every month they're signing up an additional 6 new patients. For the doctors, what we do is we help them recapture that 50% of the revenue that's walking out of their door, because it's a proprietary lens to them, and it enables them to recapture that revenue that would otherwise walk to 800 Contacts, Costco, or Walmart. And we think we can help them recapture 10 to 15% of that revenue.
Okay, great.
Amanda and 80.
Yeah, I had similar thoughts to Stephen on just kind of explaining the problem a little bit better. You might explain it in terms of like, you know, almost telling someone a story. So like when you go to the doctor, this is what happens, and this is what happens to them, and this is how it looks differently with our solution. So it's a little bit, there are a few moving parts, so it just got kind of confusing.
Gotcha. Well, and that is part of the challenge. Our customer is the end consumer. Our partner is the doctor, but the reality is it's the doctor who's making the purchase decision for the customer.
Mhm.
And our customer discovery bears that out as well. So.
Gotcha. I would have to second that. I think if you're able to bring the story first and then possibly going directly to the D2C model you were talking about with the partners, like if you could bring out the model where you're partnering up with the doctors like right after the story, I think that would clear up a lot of the confusion there. And then also getting in depth with the business model, not too in depth, but telling us in terms of the pricing and a few different numbers, your current traction would be very helpful. But otherwise, thank you so much for the pitch. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Lawrence. Again, hope you got some good feedback here, and hopefully that helps you with your pitch.
It was valuable. Thank you.
Yeah, next I'd like to bring up Randy from Cyber Trust Alliance. Randy, you here?
I am. Thanks, Shane.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and count you down.
Sounds good.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about Cyber Trust Alliance. I'm the co-founder. We were founded in 2018. And if you look at the news lately, everyone's been impacted by ransomware and cyber attacks. There's threats popping up left and right. And we are specifically focused on helping small and mid-market businesses track, assess, and address those risks. Specifically, we have a SaaS-based platform that we call Cyber Risk Management that right now is targeted at the healthcare industry. And specifically, we're helping people manage HIPAA compliance, which is a... All right, somebody...
All right. Let's go ahead and pause. Hold on.
Sorry, I couldn't tell if that was you talking to me or...
No, I'm not sure what that was, but whenever you're ready, if you want to continue, I'll just hit start whenever.
Okay, sounds good. Whenever you're ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Specifically in the United States, we see 5 million businesses that have to be compliant with HIPAA. And according to recent statistics, over 3 million of those folks have done absolutely nothing around compliance with HIPAA. So specifically in that area, we see that as a $6 billion addressable market with our pricing model, and a huge opportunity that's very greenfield at this moment, where our largest competitor has captured less than 0.5% of the marketplace. So with our SaaS-based model, we've been able to provide a solution that's affordable and achievable, which has been one of the problems to overcome why so many of the small and mid-market businesses have not taken the first step in that direction. We're doing a $2 million raise right now. We've been able to raise slightly over $450,000 of that. We're doing a convertible note raise, and we're primarily focused on accelerating the business. We've captured over 40 clients and 2,000 end users. And so we're going to invest that money into sales and marketing to drive the revenue higher in the marketplace.
All right, thank you, Randy.
Thank you, sir.
Amanda, do you want to start us off with some feedback?
Sure. I think I would like to understand how you're different from what other people are doing. I don't really know the cybersecurity space that well, or particularly when it comes to small businesses, but my assumption would be that there are other things out there. So I want to understand, why those people choose, what did you say, 2,000 customers or something, chose you over other companies.
Yeah, I mean, specifically, we're a subscription-based SaaS platform. So without having the CapEx expenditure that a lot of solutions require, it's more affordable for the SMB marketplace is a big differentiator for us.
All right, Hall, you want to go up next here with some feedback?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Randy. I thought it was a good pitch. The thing I might want to start off with is something that's more of a grabber headline that really gets attention, because sometimes you're fighting for other people's attention, and a good stat can, kind of turn everything your way, and now you have their full undivided attention. So that would be one thing. Second is, I think you have a lot of good traction numbers, and I'd fill that out at the end, add a little bit more. You had a couple of good ones there, but I think 3 or 4 others, stickiness, CAC LTV ratios, those type of things can be very compelling. And one of the questions on most investors' mind these days is growth post-COVID. Some people want to talk about what happened before COVID. I can tell you investors don't care what happened before COVID. They only care what's happening afterwards. So I'd focus that on that growth curve and what you look like there.
Great points. Thanks, Hall.
All right, 80.
I think one part of this was definitely like the background noise associated with it. That wasn't really that's something that can be controlled. But in terms of the company, would definitely love to know more about the traction associated with it, who your current competitors, and how that's going as well. Especially in this space, since there's a lot of individuals in this space, I want to know exactly like your competitive advantages associated with it. And that's pretty much it for me.
Awesome. Yeah. So I mean, specifically, it's a relatively mature market, right? HIPAA's been around for 20 years. The problem is that so many people haven't taken action. And with the uptick in enforcement and the uptick in threats, it's really driving the business right now for a need for achievable solutions. So from that standpoint, one of the big things is the SaaS-based model, right? So we don't send people on premise, right? We've taken the high cost of expensive resources and put that into the SaaS model, which has really driven a lot of the growth of the company, right? Where we're competitive price-wise. We also have found that a lot of our competitors use what they call a TurboTax model, right? Where you can do your own assessments and you can do your own tracking, right? And I pay an accountant to do my taxes because I'm not very good at it and I don't like to, and we've taken that same approach, right? Where we do the full assessment and we walk people through that, right? So they get the third-party expertise of our team, but it's all built through that SaaS platform so they can take advantage of that without having the cost of those expensive resources on their staff and having to outlay that capital. So those are a couple of the competitive advantages for us that have really resonated with our customers. And I would say too, we're doing this through a partner network. So we've got people with relationships in the industry where we're not battling for that mind share and coming alongside and working together with them so they make revenue out of it. So we're both succeeding when we go in together.
That's fantastic. I was just about to ask about the partnership aspect of this too, because I was like, you're going to need a lot of partners to break down those doors. All right, fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, 80. Steven, feedback?
Yeah, I was just going to highlight, and I think this is kind of the third time of it that you're going to hear is these differentiators or competitive advantages. I think you missed that in the pitch, and actually until you responded to 80, I don't think I heard them, because I think the SaaS piece in and of itself, I'm assuming that a lot of other people do it. So I kind of, when I heard your pitch, I said, sounds like the reason I would go with your business is because it's the cheapest alternative. And then I heard something where, no, you actually provide, it's economical, but you also provide some hands-on service. I think you need to make that point. So I think you need, that's almost how you have to open this, because to your own admission, this is a mature market. There's a lot of other players out there. I don't know it super well, but I guarantee there's somebody else doing it with a SaaS delivery. So you got to say, hey, this is what we're doing, and this is why you want to go with us versus anybody else. This is why a customer wants to go with us versus anybody else. And I think I mean, almost bullet point that out. That has to be what comes out here. So anyway.
Thank you. No, it's great feedback.
All right, well, thank you, Randy. Hope you got some good tips here.
I did.
So next, wanted to bring up Gordon McGregor. Gordon, are you in the room still? Gordon, you with us? All right, well then at this time.
Hello, yeah,
Oh,
sorry,
you're
I'm
here?
still
Okay.
here. My system's misbehaving. Yes, I'm still here. And actually, I wasn't expecting to do a pitch. I didn't realize that was part of this, but I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yeah, if you'd like to, no pressure. But yeah, if you want, I can count you down.
Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, one of the main reasons people haven't bought electric vehicles to date is range anxiety. In other words, they're fine for tootling around town, but if you want to go from Austin to Dallas or Austin to any significant distance, you worry in case you can't charge your car. Even if there are chargers there, very often they're out of operation, or there's someone else already using it and you have a long wait, et cetera, et cetera. So Tesla solved this problem by building a whole network of superchargers all over the country, which to a high degree for long distance travelers solves the problem. But what about everyone else? Not everyone can use a Tesla supercharger. So if you don't have a Tesla, you're out of luck. Or if you have a Tesla and you're going somewhere they don't happen to have superchargers along the way, which does happen, then you're out of luck again. So the question is, that's an obvious business opportunity. Why hasn't someone gone out and built a whole network of equivalent to Tesla superchargers? And the reason is, for Tesla, it's a business requirement to sell cars. They have to create the charging capability. But the return on investment for DC fast charging, which is what's needed for long distance, is just not there. That's why you don't see a lot of DC fast charging centers all over the US, and why it's not being aggressively pursued yet. Government's trying to help resolve this with all sorts of incentives, but the equipment is just too expensive. It's usually out of date before it's fulfilled any return on investment. It's just costs too much. EVC PowerTech solves this problem. We've got a completely different architecture. Our equipment cost is about half that of other vendors. Our operating cost is also about half that of other vendors. And our return on investment is about 4 times faster than any other technology out there.
All right, so that would be time on the elevator pitch. I know you said you weren't prepared necessarily, so that's okay, but maybe the panel can give you some feedback on how to make it shorter into that window for next time. Hall, do you want to go ahead and get us started?
Sure. I think this is one of the cases where we don't have to describe why something's a problem. All we have to do is identify the problem and say that's a problem, and then people get it. They know that charging is not so great.
We have to really start regrouping.
Okay, do we have a flyer?
And so the idea is you spend maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds saying this is a problem, and then spend the rest of the time. You eventually got to the the advantage of your solution, why it's faster, and so forth. But I would flip it around the other way. Just identify the problem, then move into your solution, because I think most people are going to get, yeah, that's an issue. Now what can we do about it?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Hall. Amanda?
Yeah, I think you could, I would just kind of basically say the same thing. I think you can cut the problem down way shorter. I think it's easy for people to imagine. So you could just say, like, Tesla has this solution, but it's only for their cars. What about all the other cars out there? That's basically, that's easy to understand. And then you can spend a little bit more time talking about your solution, why you, your team, and your ask.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Amanda. Stephen? I think you're on mute there.
I was going to say ditto is the overriding comment, to Hall and Amanda's comments. I mean, I don't even know, and I haven't thought about it long enough. I don't even know if you need to get into the Tesla example. Again, if you're time sensitive, I think Hall said it right. Everybody gets the issue. So I think you just say, hey, how do you power your car? How do you power your electric car on a long ride? That's a problem. That's a big concern. Here's the answer. I mean, you can do that. If you have 2 minutes, that's 10 seconds, and the rest should just be, here's our solution.
Got it. Thank you.
Thanks. And AD, if you have any comments?
No, none at this time. I think at the end of the day, I know this was a impromptu one, so it's perfectly fine. But definitely kind of stage it out so you do have the problem solution, exactly what you're looking to express in your pitch. But since it was impromptu, nothing much to say there.
Well, thank you, AD, and thank you, Gordon, for going off the cuff there and giving it a shot. I think it's pretty good for not having necessarily a preparation for 2 minutes. So at this time, I'd like to ask any other startup founders in the audience to raise their hand if they'd like to give their pitch. See if we have any. Sorry, with the raise your hand feature, might be.
Oh, this is Rick Ortiz. Sorry.
I'm trying to see everybody's faces. Rick, is that you?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna count you down here. 3, 2, 1, go.
We are all drowning in information, but starved for meaning. It is the structure of information that creates meaning. Our company, Communication Constructs, provides a SaaS solution named PowerWriter that helps organizations effectively communicate and cultivate their knowledge base. PowerWriter provides a persuasive structure that guides users to create and organize their ideas and supporting information. The structured ideas are then automatically transformed into multiple final formats. This results in effective individual communication and a structured knowledge base. Both are leveraged with AI support to strengthen organizational communication and knowledge management. For about 9 years, we've developed and proven our solution along with a Fortune 500 customer and their global distributor network. This was in 19 languages. Our customer has identified PowerWriter as a competitive advantage. We've bootstrapped up to this point, and we're now looking for an advisor partner to invest and help take PowerWriter to market. Investment will be used for expansion and development, customer success, sales, and marketing in that order. With investment, our plan is to 10x in 3 years in enterprise and SMB. And then long-term is to go for a consumer product, which would be at some time in the future. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Rick. AD, you want to get us started with some feedback?
You muted
Or
AD.
anyone on the panel?
All right, sorry about that. Love the mission, what you guys are currently doing. I would say I would like to learn more about the competitive advantage. One more time, if you can explain that for me.
Sure. So our system overlaps with a few other systems: knowledge management, training for effective communication, also consulting for sales communication. But there are no systems out there that have a SaaS solution, software that someone can actually use to organize ideas specific to the current customer situation. So our solution ends up with a very specific customer solution that is supported by reuse of the best organizational content. And there are not systems out there that do this in a repeatable process. We have a patent on our SaaS solution that takes ideas that are developed in a structure chart and automatically converts it to final formats. So this has been proven now with all levels of users, from non-college educated salespeople in the field in 19 languages around the globe, all the way up to subject matter experts that can use it to organize very technical information to make it very understandable for anyone to read the information that they've organized.
Fantastic. And I'm guessing you guys already have current traction as well, since you did say that it's global currently.
Yeah, so we have one Fortune 500 customer that uses it, has been using it for 9 years. They have over 700 distributors. About half of those are organizations, by the way. About half of those are currently using our solution, and it's growing. So this year we had a major upgrade of the system that includes many workflow items that go around the core development of the ideas. And so that has helped us to really step forward and increase the traction with this one customer. We feel like we've got a few gaps we've got to fill in, and then move forward, being able to take it to other customers and other markets.
All right. Nothing at this time then. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Adi. Anybody else on the panel? Stephen?
Quick
Or
question,
Amanda, whoever?
is this a telesales tool, Rick?
It could be used for that. So it is, the idea structure is a persuasive structure. It applies to anyone who wants to persuasively communicate ideas. The long game is that a consumer could use it for sales proposals, customer status reports. College students can use it to write papers. We train entry-level students that come out of the top colleges for this Fortune 500 customer every year, and we always get great feedback from the college students saying if we had this in school, it would have really helped our career, our college career. So it has really endless long-term possibilities. We're going to continue to push in the enterprise arena and then go to small business thereafter, knowing that for consumer we need to have very simple click and very streamlined process that will be all web-based. Right now we have a Windows application that runs offline because our customer goes to remote sites for their customers and they need to have self-contained functionality, but we also are cloud-based with a mobile app and other supporting information or systems.
So my piece of constructive criticism again ties to the question, which is I would add use cases. You had another 35 seconds to go.
Yeah.
And the piece of the and I didn't understand. I'm not sure I fully understand even now, but I certainly didn't understand it all until you answered that question, what it is you do. So I'd add kind of here's 2 or 3 easy use cases where you can see where do we add value, what do we do? Because I wasn't even sure what you did until.
Great.
Until it.
Absolutely. Right there when I talked about the customer, I should have said hey, they use it for specifically this, to go and solve a solution for the customer, deliver a proposal, and then reuse those ideas.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, I had the same exact thought. The first thing you said was like very abstract and broad. And I have a feeling you're saying it that way because maybe your customer use cases are very different. But if you chose like one compelling customer use case to explain in the very beginning and then kind of say how that could apply to other people too, other companies too, then I think that would be better.
Perfect. So go real quick response to that, going back to your 30-second, 1 minute, 5 minute, what I did, would that be if I honed that down a little bit, the 30-second just to get interest, and then in the 1 and 5 minute go into the use case?
Yeah, so one way to do it is to say like our customer uses us in this way and we've helped them like grow by X or whatever your metric is there. And then you can say, and there are many other businesses like this that can use our technology for various needs.
Use cases.
And then,
perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
Paul, do you have anything to add?
Sure. Rick, I've heard the pitch before. I think it's overall good. I think he had some extra time there. And what I would put in that extra time is, in addition to what Steve and Amanda talked about, is basically, patents, what moat have you built around it? And what investors want to know about patents is what was filed and when. Utility patents were filed a year ago. Provisional patents were filed 6 months ago, just to give a little bit of color around what exactly, how far along are you with the patenting process. Half the value of patents are with investors, so we want to use them here. And then if you have any customer ROI numbers, you have a great customer there using it, really successful. If we can get down to a number, increase revenue, reduce costs, what have you, that can be very compelling. If I say my product's better, that's one thing. If I say my product is saving them $250 million a year, that's a very different thing. And so I'd add those 2 things in for when you have the opportunity to do so.
Perfect. Thanks, Hall.
All right, well, thank you, Rick. I hope you got some good tips. And looks like we have time for about one more elevator pitch. If anybody wants to use the raise their hand feature in Zoom. Let's see who I get first. All right. Give it another second. All right, well, it looks like then nobody else has a pitch they want to give, which is great. I hope that all the startups who did give pitches gained some valuable information from our panel. Do we have any last words from the panel, just in general, about elevator pitches or maybe something they heard?
I thought those are great pitches, guys. Appreciate you coming out to join us today. I think it was very good, solid work. And I want to thank the panelists for giving us their time and their expertise on this as well. And appreciate the communications we've had here. Shane?
Yeah, anybody else on the panel have some closing words?
I'll say one thing. When you are practicing your pitch, don't forget that I feel like most pitches actually happen over coffee and they're more conversational. So don't forget to practice those too. It's not always you on a stage.
Right, I totally agree. Some of the events we host at 10 Capital Network, we do need startups to have, you know, a good condensed elevator pitch. So that's something we really try to hone in on at this point, and that's why we host this event.
I think it's great practice, and this was an awesome event to have.
Yeah, no, but I totally agree with you. And thank you for your expertise and feedback on the panel. Stephen, 80, any other closing words?
I was just going to say, and it ties into that practice. I mean, it sounds so old, and script out what you want to say, write it out long form, because that exercise helps you just articulate your message. You don't want to read it, but you want to write it out and articulate it, make sure you have it. And I mean, I would tell people, you know, write it out long form, convert your long form to bullets, and then just memorize it. And again, it's no different from practicing for a play. I mean, you know, if you're a school grade play, remember, you know, at first grade, you had to remember your line. is no different. So practice.
All right, thank you, Stephen. 80, anything else?
100% agree. At the end of the day, definitely a lot of practice associated with it. Make sure that you have at least, you know, 3 or 4 different pitches down, depending on who you're speaking with. And at the same time, also make sure to hit, like, you know, the 5 key metrics, which is going to be, you know, problem solution, current traction, and then from there, tell me a little bit more about, you know, competitive advantage. And the ask. The ask is always the biggest at the end of the day. You don't want to walk away from any kind of possible connection you can make by forgetting to ask them for something at the end of the day.
I have a quick question in response to that for everyone. Is the ask something you want to hear at the beginning and then hear the detail, or do you want to hear the detail and the ask at the end?
Ask at the end for me. I think that's just more of a personal one, but
okay.
Same for me. Ask at the end.
Yeah, same.
I don't. Your business is what'll make or break the decision, but I think just in terms of, especially if you're tight in time, just make the ask once.
All right, well, thank you to the panel. We can go ahead and close it out. And I want to thank the panel and the startup founders who came out today for a great event. Like I said before, I hope you guys all got some great tips and information. And yeah, I don't have anything else for you. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.